too, even though your shirt shrunk. The Panthers and the Lightning had a great 3-2 matchup, but the Panthers did get the victory in that one. David and I both took the Lightning. Rangers Caps, David and I both took the Rangers. It kind of went back and forth here on this. And then, of course, the Jets, the Avalanche. You guys both took the Winnipeg Jets, and I took the Avs. And David got the Canucks, where both of us took the Preds. The Heat beat the...
That was a good game, too.
That was a good game, too. That was a good game. The late nightcap in the NHL there. And then the Heat and the Bulls, that was the last of the games there on Friday. And obviously the Heat won that one and then lost their opening game. And the Pelicans beat the Kings as well. So you guys picked the Bulls and the Kings. I picked the Heat and the Pelicans, got that one. And as I mentioned already, Tyler Riddick got the victory. So that beat you and I, Jay. You took Elliott in both. I added Hamlin in there thinking it would work, and it certainly didn't. And then you got the City NASCAR pick between Elliott, Hamlin, and Logano. I know Logano was up there for a little while, and Hamlin was pretty far back in that one. Do you have a wreck early in the race or something like that?
I can't finish 34th.
Yeah. He was deep back there.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make everybody else feel better for once.
There you go.
Winning all that stuff.
Well, all the crew chiefs yesterday were talking about slowing everybody up to save gas. I can't believe in NASCAR we're talking about slowing actually, but this is restrictor plate racing. But yeah, they were telling the drivers to actually slow up yesterday. It's kind of crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Need to get back to 212 miles.
I know, right, Ralph?
Ralph knows how to race. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Pastime, son. Y'all talk about baseball. No, sirree, Bob.
A lot faster for Ralph.
Left
he likes
turn,
to live in that,
left turn, left turn, left turn.
And the left lane driving, too, for Ralph. He's a fast one. They had the big Ryan Garcia and Haney fight over the weekend, which was an interesting fight because Ryan Garcia, it wasn't official for the belts because he was 3 pounds overweight, but it was still a fight for the money and the prizes. It's just now I think Haney is the one that can still go on to fight for the belt, even though Ryan Garcia won. And if you follow Ryan Garcia on social media, he's gone kind of crazy in the last 2 or 3 months. But guess what? He won that fight and kind of, made Haney look a little surprising there. And he also bet a bunch of money on himself as well. He bet $2 million to defeat Devin Haney and was paid out $12 million. That's how big of an underdog
he was plus 550. I couldn't find it on Hard Rock, but it was on DraftKings.
Yeah. So not only gets the prize money for winning the fight, but he also gets, $12 million for betting on himself.
But I know that they had like a little agreement too,
he
where
paid him
was
$500,000 per pound he was overweight.
Yeah.
I wonder if he paid that out.
So that's $1.5 million right there.
I wonder what he got paid from winning the fight. Probably like $20 million or something like that.
I don't know. I guess I could look that up. We got some time. Yeah, that was a good fight though, man.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
When I followed Garcia for a while, and you almost feel like maybe he was doing all this crazy stuff on social media to get his odds better or something like that. Who knows if that was really the case? But he's always had really, really fast hands and been a strong fighter. And he's lost that one fight to I forget the guy's name, but that was
Gervonta Davis.
Yes,
Tank.
That's right, Tank. He lost that one, but he's up and coming and trying to make some stuff happen. But interesting fight. And I was asking Alan about that earlier. I was like, did it still count? And that's when I learned, it still counts, still for the prize money, but like the opportunity to then fight for the belt.
Yeah,
he wasn't at the right weight, so it didn't come to fruition on that one.
Which a lot of people weren't happy about that, and I kind of agree with them to the extent of I'm glad that the fight went through and the people got what they wanted out of the entertainment aspect of it and was able to see that. But as a fighter, really any discipline that you get in any type of martial art, be it boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, what's one of the main things that you're trying to learn and pour into others with is discipline. And part of that is being disciplined to come in at the weight that you signed the contract to fight at. And so to come in 3 pounds overweight, just not a great look, but at the end of the day, man, the fight was really good. So, and I don't think it's hard to say, but I don't think that the 3 pounds really changes anything because, when you cut your weight, you weigh in the day before. So by the time that you're fighting, you're at, like, I saw a stat from Dustin Poirier's last fight where he was, I think the fight was at 155, and by the time that the fight actually went on, he was at 176. 21 pounds in 24 hours.
Yeah. That's carbo loading. Yeah.
Do you think these guys eventually get their day of humbleness as far as because I was watching that George Foreman documentary over the weekend, and Foreman was just putting people on the ground left and right. And actually, he was the one that took Frazier down. You know, the famous saying of like, Frazier's down, Frazier's down. And then all of a sudden, Ali steps in the ring. Or down goes Frazier. And then Ali steps in the ring, and then Foreman, after that first hit, you know, you could tell Foreman was like, oh, I'm with a different person.
This is a different boxer right here.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you see that every once in a while, because you can just have some guys that are just so dominant in boxing. But you get one of these up-and-comers that they don't take serious enough. And boxing, and David talks about this, boxing, it's just as much about promotion as it is the actual fight. Because these guys are making so much money this day and age. And you know, the last several years, boxing has kind of been on the decline, and that's where you've seen the rise of the Jake Pauls and these crossover fights simply to try to bring more attention to the sport. But yeah, it's a tricky one, because you get an up-and-comer that, you know, can kick your butt, and all of a sudden you get that humble pie, like you said.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense too, because for the average fans who aren't just sitting there knowing everything about boxing and they're just wanting to watch to be entertained, I would put myself right there in that category, right? When you're watching boxing and then something like MMA comes along and UFC, and then you know, there's not as much, if they're hugging, they're down on the ground grappling and stuff, you know, and there's a lot more kind of stand and bang, and so with that, and I think that the broadcast of UFC, with it only being 3 to 5 rounds, and so I think that's been a thorn in the side of boxing, and so I don't even think it's a maybe when it comes to promotion being more than what the actual fight is. I think that's a promotion in anything is a huge deal, but when it comes down to boxing these days, it's all about who's going to be in the ring rather than what actually happens in the ring.
No, 100%, and that's kind of what UFC did. I mean, there was that point boxing, and UFC kind of crossed and went the other direction. I think you're exact, because of the entertainment of UFC versus boxing. I mean, shoot, some of these boxing fights are 12 rounds, and, you know, by the time you're 10 rounds into it, you're having a knockout. These guys are gassed. They're just leaning on each other, and the action starts to dwindle down a little bit, especially when you get into the light heavyweights and the heavyweight guys. But UFC is certainly a kind of, just like every sport, it's faster, it's more exciting. It's what all the other sports are doing too. Boxing just really couldn't do anything to their individual sport besides the promotion side of things.
Do you think the commonality that all these UFC guys have is anger? I mean, because, you know, like Foreman said that he lost his anger in the ring, and he's like, I mean, that's how he found Jesus Christ. I
think that there's a lot of different factors in that upbringing. Some of the maybe they were bullied, you know, just wanting to fight and trying to find that outlet. I think each fighter has its own different story, just kind of like how each athlete, like in the NFL, didn't get there necessarily the same way and didn't have the same obstacles that they had to jump over. So, and I think that's the beauty of sports in general, and in regular life as well, is the path that people take to get to where it is that they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have all different types doing all the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, every person's got their each motivation, that's for sure. I know we got about a minute left. Didn't get to mention to it last week, but wanted to congratulate the Mosley boys and girls track team for winning the Bay County track meet last Thursday over there at Tommy Oliver Stadium. They won both the boys and the girls side of things. And then some quick scores from Friday. You had baseball. Bozeman beat North Bay Haven 5-1, going to 20-2 on the season. I believe the first team in Bay County to get to that 20 mark. Rutherford beat Rickards 11-1. Wakulla on softball beat North Bay Haven 8-0. Both 18-3 now. Bay beat Kasdan County 18-1. Trying to do it fast. Niceville beat Mosley 5-1 in softball. Mosley beat Crestview 6-5 in baseball, and then Arnold suffered their third loss of the season, which we knew would be a tough game there to South Walton. Real quick, some scores, some games coming up tonight. Varsity baseball, Arnold at Rutherford, Bay at Malone. That Arnold Rutherford game, at Arnold, and then Wewa-Hitchcock at North Bay Haven. And on softball, you got one game tonight in Bay County, Mosley at Chipley. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. We appreciate you hanging out with us today on the Inside Drive. Go to ESPNPC.com, look at the top, click Best Day, and give us a nomination. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290.